Hello there, welcoming you all in the physics arena by Nitesh sir. Students, hopefully you all are doing well and also preparing for your examinations. Students, today with the help of this video lecture, we are going to state about the chapter number 10 of class 11, center of mass. So the first topic which I am going to give you the elaboration, that is the center of mass. So before going to state about the topic, first of all we will learn what do you mean by mass. Anything which occupies space is said to be the matter, whereas the amount of matter consists by a substance, the amount of matter consists by a substance is called mass, and mass is an independent quantity of the gravity. It means that it does not varies. Mass does not vary from place to place. It is an invariant quantity. So we can also write that mass is an invariant quantity because it is independent of the gravity. Okay, it is a constant quantity. So now we are going to discuss about the topic center of mass. So students, center means that a point which is in the mid. So what do you mean by center of mass for a body? Okay, so center of mass for a body can be defined as, here I am writing center of mass, because in your examination it might be possible that a question from 1 marks may be from this topic. So center of mass of a body is defined as what? How it can be defined? So center of mass of a body is defined as a point where the total mass of the body is assumed to be concentrated. It means that a point where all the masses of each and every particles of a body is concentrated, that center point, that point is said to be the center of mass, is called center of mass for that body. Okay students, so center of mass, how we can define center of mass? A point where the total mass of the body is assumed to be concentrated, then such point is said to be the center of mass. What do you mean by the center of mass of a two particle system? So before going to state about the next topic, first we will learn what do you mean by system. Okay students, what do you mean by system and how we can define system? System means that an arrangement which consists more than one particle. How we can define system? System is an arrangement which consists more than one particle. Okay students, so how we can define system? System can be defined as it is an arrangement which consists more than one particle. It may consist 2 particles, 3 particles, 4 particles. So on the behalf of the number of particles, we can define the system as system of 2 particles, system of 3 particles, and n number system. So on the basis of number of particles, each system is defined can be subcategorized as 2 particle system, 2 particle system, 3 particle system, 3 particle system, or it can be also defined as n particle system. So students, if someone may ask that what do you mean by system, then you can define easily that system is an arrangement which consists more than one particles. Okay students, so now we are going to learn about the center of mass of the 2 particle system. It means that we are going to elaboration about the or analysis about the body which is having the 2 particles within it. So center of mass of 2 particle system. How we can define 2 particle system? We can say that an arrangement which consists 2 particles within it, then such type of the system is said to be the 2 particle system. So in order to discuss about the center of mass of the 2 particle system, we will choose the system which consists the 2 particles. So now we are going to give you the glance. Let us suppose that a system of 2 particles. Now we are going to take the consideration of the 2 particle system. Let us suppose that a system of 2 particles having masses. Those particles are having masses m1 and m2. So here we have chosen the 2 particle system in which a particle is having mass m1 and the another particle is having mass m2, and both particles are located at point A and B respectively, and both the particles are located at point A and B respectively. It means that both the particles have their finite location. Okay student, so what we can do now, we are going to choose a frame of reference. From that we can give the distance of these 2 particles from the origin. So let's start with the diagram. If I am going to draw a diagram like this, if we are having a coordinate system of 3 axes like x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. So this is x-axis, this is y-axis, and this is z-axis. Okay students, so let us suppose that and this is the origin point O. Let us suppose that these are the 2 systems. The first one is point A where the mass m1 is located. Here at point A, first particle of mass m1 is located, and at point B a body of mass m2 is located. So the distance of this particle A from this reference point will be r1. This is the position vector r1 and this is the position vector r2. Why we have chosen the position vector? To give its position in a particular frame of reference. So what will be the center of mass for this particle system? Okay students, so if we join, you can see here these are the 2 vectors. So if we are willing to give the resultant, so make it join, and the center will be the center point for the center of this two body system. So how we can give the center of mass for the two particle system? So now I am going to give you the more explanation about this particular topic. What is that? What we have did, let us suppose that a system of the two particles, one particle is A and another is B, are having the masses m1 and m2 respectively. Okay, and those particles are separated at a point A and B. Okay, now particle A and B, now particle A and B are having position vectors. Why position vector? Because they are having the finite distance from origin, having the position vectors r1 and r2 from origin. So now we are going to calculate the moment of mass of center of mass for that system. Okay students, and center of mass is given by C. As I have stated above that we have to calculate the center of mass of the two particle system. So we can give the center of mass by a definition that is a product of mass of the body to the position vector. So in order to give so from here we can write that then the center of mass of two particle system, now here the masses are m1 and m2. Okay, then the center of mass of the two particle system, where R means that is a mean distance of the center of mass. Okay students, RCM of center of mass C, okay, of the system, then how we can define the mass for that? So here the two particles, so masses are m1 plus m2. Collaboratively if we will take, then total mass is m1 plus m2 and the mean distance is RCM. So how we can define RCM? RCM can be defined as, here you can see that students, here what we can see that the midpoint that is C is the mean distance. Okay, so this is the RCM. So RCM will be what? The product of the mass, the sum of the masses to the mean distance will be the center of mass for the two particle system. So in this way we can calculate the two particle system mass. So we can write from here that m1 plus m2 into RCM is equals to what? That is the m1 r1 plus m2 r2. Okay, now here I have written separately. Okay, let us suppose that this is the equation number 1. So we have to calculate RCM. RCM is the center of mass. So RCM for the two particle system will be the product of mass to the position vector of first body and product of mass of the second body to the position vector of the second body upon total mass of the system. Okay students, so we can write what we can conclude from here. Center of mass for the two particle system can be calculated as, from here clearly the product of total mass of the body, total mass, that is m1 plus m2, total mass of of the system and position vector vector of the center of mass is equals to this one, what I have stated. Total mass of the system is m1 plus m2 and position vector is rcm is equals to the sum of the product of, now separately, product of masses of two particle with their position vectors. So students, in order to calculate the center of mass for a system, it is required that we must know the mass of the system, masses of the particles, and also know the position vector. If we are knowing masses and if we are knowing the position vector, then simply we can take the product, and by getting the product, if we take the ratio with the total mass of the system, then surely we will get the center of mass for that system, either it is a 2-particle system or a 3-particle system or n-particle system. Okay students, now we are moving towards the further topic. So what is the further topic? The further topic is that center of mass of a uniform rod, and how we can calculate the center of mass for a uniform rod. Okay students, so first of all, before going to state about the center of mass for a uniform rod, first we will know how we can give the total force exerting on a system when it is having the n number of the particles. In order to discuss the mathematical interpretation, let us suppose that a system of the 2 particles, okay, a system of the 2 particles. Now an external force is applied to the system. So as an external force will apply to the system, it also influence to the internal forces of the particle. So let us suppose that, what I am going to give you the glance, that let us suppose that 2-particle system, and as we are knowing that in order to make the system in a balanced condition, the forces should be, the algebraic sum of the forces should be 0. Okay student, so what we have chosen? We have chosen a system of the 2 particles. Okay, so let us suppose that the 2-particle system of masses m1 and m2. Okay, so the first particle is having mass m1 and the another particle is having mass m2 are acted upon the external force, are acted upon an external force F1 and F2 respectively. It means that the force respectively. Okay student, so the force F1 is acting on the first particle and F2 is acting on to the another particle. So the mutual force of interaction will be F12, means the force of interaction from the particle 1 to the particle second will be exactly equals to the force exerted by the second particle to the first particle, but in the opposite direction, because this is the condition to make a body in a balanced condition. So net force will be the sum of, therefore net force will be F12 plus minus of F21 that should be 0 to make the body in a balanced condition. So now what we are going to do, we are going for the mathematical interpretation. So let us suppose that when force F1 and F2 is applied to the two particle system, then the instantaneous velocity takes place of the masses m1 and m2. Okay, as the forces F1 and F2 are acted upon masses m1 and m2. Particles gain velocities v1 and v2. Okay students, so it will be directional v1 and v2. Now what will happen with the help of the Newton's second law? Okay, so apply Newton's second law of motion. What Newton's second law of motion states? Law of motion, that the second law of motion states that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the applied unbalanced force. So the rate of change of momentum can be given for the first particle will be d upon dt, means that is a rate of, now momentum, change in momentum for the first particle will be m1 v1, as we are knowing that the momentum is a product of mass to the velocity. So this is dp1. Okay students, so instead of p1 I am writing here m1 v1 upon dt. This is the first particle will be equals to the force F1. Okay students, now and F1 and F12, this is the force of interaction. And now the rate of change of momentum for the second particle will be d upon dt, because why the two forces I have written here? Because one will be external force and one will be internal force of interaction. So now F for the second particle m2 v2 will be f2 plus f21. So now what we are going to do, as we are knowing that the net forces should be 0, it means that f12 plus f21 should be equals to 0. Okay students, so now we are going to proceed further. Students, now we are collectively going to calculate the center of mass of the two particle system. Therefore now we will add both of the equations like dp1 upon dt plus what I am saying, that we are having the two momentums, that is the momentums dp1, okay, and dp2. The rate of change of momentum will be, as we are knowing that the dp1 upon t and dp2 upon dt will be equals to the sum of their forces F1 plus F2, that is the external forces, and also the sum of their internal forces, that is F12 plus F21. Students, earlier I have said that dp1 upon dt can be written as d upon dt m1 v1. m1 v1 means mass, product of mass to the velocity of the first particle plus the rate of change of momentum for the second particle. Here can be written as the sum of external forces plus the sum of internal force of interaction. And since we are knowing that F12 is equals to minus F21, so it will be 0. Okay students, it will be 0, net force will be 0. Therefore we can write that this LHS will be equals to the RHS, that is F1 plus F2. Okay, now here if F1 plus F2 is the total external force applied to the system, so this is F1 plus F2. Since F1 plus F2 is applied external force, then we can write what we can write, F external is equals to d upon dt m1 v1 plus d upon dt m2 v2. How we have proceeding till here? Due to the application of the second law of motion, that rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the applied external force. So collectively we can write that the change takes place in m1 v1, okay, m1 v1 and m2 v2. So here we can write m1 v1 plus m2 v2. And students, as we are knowing that the velocity can be defined as the rate of change of displacement, okay. So we can move further, how that d upon dt will be at outside, and as we are knowing that mass is invariant quantity, so m1 will be like here, and instead of v1 what we can write, velocity is equals to rate of change of displacement with respect to time t. So instead of v1 we can write that dr1 upon dt for the first particle. So dr1 upon dt for first particle, and for m2 dr2 upon dt for the second particle, okay students. So in this manner, what now here again differentiation will be come outside as d2 upon dt square, means the change takes place 2 times, and here inside m1 r1 plus m2 r2 will be remain. And as we are knowing that m1 r1 and m2 r2, that is the center of mass for the two particle system. So if we will multiply, what we will multiply and divide RHS by m1 plus m2. If we will multiply in this RHS side by m1 plus m2 in upper and lower, both numerator as well as denominator. So here I am writing multiply and divide RHS by total mass, that is m1 plus m2, okay. We have what we will have, that F external will be equals to what we have to multiply first, m1 plus m2 into the RHS, then d2 square upon dt square m1 r1 plus m2 r2, okay students, m1 r1 plus m2 r2, and also we have to divide by m1 plus m2. And since we have learned that m1 r1 plus m2 r2 upon m1 plus m2 is RCM, since m1 r1 plus m2 r2 upon m1 plus m2 is what, that is RCM, center of mass for the two particle system, then we can conclude that what we can conclude, that F external is equals to m1 plus m2 into d2 RCM upon dt square, okay students. So this above expressions proves that, hence we can say that it proves that the force, external force, will be the product of the total mass of the body to the distance occurred by the system. And as we are knowing that here it is dt square upon dt square, that is acceleration, so it can be written as F is equals to ma, okay students. So now in this way we can calculate the total force acting on a body, and also we can calculate the center of mass for the two particle system.